like in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. The recommendation is received for information, but if there's any questions, be happy to entertain. If not, I'll take a motion. Moved by Councillor Leahy, second by Councillor McDougall. If there's no debate, further debate, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That item is carried. Next item is the establishment of fees and charges bylaw for court clerk operations. Commissioner?
It's me as
Oh.
well. And I'm not, I
Listen.
hope Mr. Hunt is on the line.
He's right behind you.
Oh, that's even better.
A
So-
stealth lawyer, that's really,
This report is simply to enable us to charge fees for individuals from other municipalities that are paying their fees in Durham Region. And it addresses a couple of loopholes in the system, but I'll ask Jason if he wants to add anything. Thank you.
Thanks, Elaine. And yeah, so the court system, in the court system, you are allowed to pay your, let's say, speeding ticket fine in any jurisdiction. So if you happen to live here and you get a charge in Toronto or somewhere else, you can pay that ticket here. This is only for payments at the counter in person. It is the kind of thing that might happen once or twice a month. For our residents, and the fee, as you can see, is minimal. This is a practice that is being implemented across all of the jurisdictions within the GTA, and we have a particular issue with individuals who are coming with multiple charges, like in the hundreds, and taking up counter time. So this will prevent that, and the impact on our residents will be minimal because most people do pay their tickets online now.
thank you. Councillor Leahy, you have a question?
Yes. Thank you, through the chair to staff. So I appreciate that. So that kind of answered my question a little bit, but I just want for clarity. So you said, maybe 1 to 2 a month, but it might be dozens and dozens and dozens of pounds. So we just think like this might be a few $1,000s a year, or is it just really to stop that person from bringing in 50 charges, and the $500 cost will probably incent them to go to the jurisdiction where they committed the offense?
Yeah, that's precisely correct. We like I said, we anticipate the impact on our residents to be minimal. And we can tell them at the counter, you can just pay that fine online, and we actually have an iPad where they can do it right there. Yeah, so we don't expect that it's going to be applied to any of our residents, but we do have an issue with people who are, in essence, we would say, abusing the system, bringing in multiple charges that aren't theirs necessarily, and using our counter to pay those charges. So similar issues been encountered in other jurisdictions, and they've implemented the same response. So we expect it will completely stop that. So we won't receive any revenue from this necessarily. We're just trying to make sure that the counter is there for our residents and not being overused by people who are, in effect, abusing the system.
And then supplementary to that through the chair. So when you say they're paying for other people, so somebody's coming in to pay other people's fines at our counter? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes. So people can pay through an organization called Pay Tickets, which is contracted directly with the province as an online provider to accept payments online. And that's the appropriate way for people to pay their tickets. However, there is at least one and maybe more businesses that are intending to compete with that by collecting fines and then coming to our counter to pay them in person, rather than pay them through the online portal. So.
Oh, okay. All right. No, that makes sense. So it's, again, not a lot of money just to prevent that. So hopefully it fixes things up and people will just go online, which is typically the easier way. So those are my questions. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, staff.
Thank you. There is a recommendation to recommend to Regional Council the bylaw to establish the processing of owners' jurisdiction provincial offences tickets. I need a mover, moved by Councillor Carrot and second by Councillor Leahy. Any debate? Being none, all those in favor? Opposed? That item is carried. Moving on to, okay, it's moved by Chair Henry and second by Councillor Leahy that we have 3 finance reports: Durham Region Transit Bus Order and Capital Projects, Interim Regional Property Tax Levy, and Temporary Boarding Bylaw for 2025. Are there any polls? Councillor?
Yeah, I had questions on A and B,
Okay.
but not C. Thanks.
All right. Any other polls? So we're going to stand down A and B and then move to item C. If there's no further debate, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That item is carried. We're going back to item A, which is a 2024 Durham Region Transit Bus Order and Capital Projects reallocation. It's moved by Chair Henry, second by Councillor Leahy. Councillor Leahy, you have questions?
Yes, thank you. Through Chair Ash to the appropriate staff member. So I guess part of the thing that stuck out to me the most on this particular one was the budget anticipated 33.7 million grant funding from the Zero Emission Transit Fund for the electric buses. And essentially, if I'm understanding the report correctly, they're saying we got nothing?
Through the chair, I'll comment, and General Manager Holmes may wish to comment, and Chair Henry had a few words about this the other day as well. Yes, we had anticipated significant funding and actually had been receiving encouraging, you'll be happy to see this. And then in the end, we got a letter at 9 o'clock at night saying you get 0, and our counterparts all got tens of millions, if not more. So what it did was decimate our 2014 bus order, but it had been dealt with on the very optimistic feedback we were getting that funds would be forthcoming. So I guess, again, I'm not sure whether General Manager Holmes wants to comment, but very frustrating activity.
And, okay, so I guess like supplementary to that, so that's from, so who ultimately manages that particular fund?
So I'll
which
let
part?
perhaps General Manager Holmes speak to the actual program.
Thank you. And through the chair, the ZETF is a program through the federal government, through the former Infrastructure Canada.
Okay, and was there any feedback about why our application didn't qualify and our neighbors did? Like, do we have any sense? Anything at all?
From the staff that we deal with there, the feedback was that the $2.75 billion program had been oversubscribed nationally, and basically that was one of the contributing factors why we didn't receive the funding. Again, we thought we had encouraging news, but it didn't pan out at the end.
Is, okay, supplementary, is that a one-time fund that there's no opportunities in the future that we're aware of, or is that fund exhausted and there's no other opportunities to apply for that?
Through the chair, the ZETF is a one-time fund, which basically it's closed at this point in time. However, the federal government has announced and are releasing the Canada Public Transit Fund, which is a $3 billion annual program for the next, annually over the next 10 years. There's, in the tech report, you'll see there's 3 different streams associated with that. We are well engaged within the region and with both the MTO as well as Infrastructure Canada in making sure that we have those applications in a timely manner.
And then I guess last question, I guess, through staff or maybe through Chair Henry, since it's a federal program, do we get any response from any of our MPs or any engagement on this particular one?
We did get notification from 2, and they were disappointed that we didn't get it. But there was not, that was it. So we were told that we were going to get it. Then we were told we applied for too much, and then we were going to redo our application, and then we were told there was no need to do that. And then we get this letter late in the day. But York Region got $70 million.
Yeah, anyway, and I appreciate the facts and all that. It just seems incredible that they would give some to a neighbor and nothing to us. Like, it just boggles the mind. All right, I guess that's my next question, I guess, over to Commissioner for Transit, is, so I see like we're dropping our bus order. So what's the long-term impact of not having the same number of buses? Because we were originally going to have, was it 34? And now we're ordering about half that? Like what's the impact?
So through the chair, so if you recall our 10-year service strategy, which has an annual incremental increase in service, we are ordering buses 2 years in advance. So the buses that for 2024, we expect to see those in place for September 2026. What that means is that we may not be able to reach the growth that we're looking at from a peak period perspective. However, we are looking at alternatives, so we're evaluating now. You'll see part of that through the 2025 budget regarding refurbishments and looking for other opportunities that we can increase the fleet, at least in the short term, to meet some of those commitments until the Canada Public Transit Fund comes online and see if we can make up the difference at that point in time. So right now, we're looking at what alternatives we can find to change that delta. It may mean that the peak period service that requires on more buses will be limited in a year or two in terms of that level of growth.
Okay, no, and I appreciate that. And so all of this drop, and there looks like maybe it's more for Commissioner Taylor. So money's being moved around, so there's not much. Is there an extra draw on this year's budget, or it's really on future budgets?
So through the chair, because this is coming so quick with the 2025 budget next month, what we've done here is taken the full envelope of what was left in 2024 and done the best we could with it. And then for the 2025 budget, we're looking at other ways to try to top up some extra buses to at least move the benchmark a little bit. But this is about shuffling the deck with the confines of what we have available.
So essentially 2024, no impact, but impact for 2025.
That's right. So for 2024, we can't revisit tax levy or anything. So we've literally maximized what we could do with as much service hours as we could possibly fit in, which drove the maths to the 18 buses. And then for 2025, we're trying to push the envelope as much as we can to add in a few more buses.
Okay, no, fair amount. Yeah, disappointing to say the least, but I appreciate everyone's work, and I guess better luck next time. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Wu.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, Willie.
Questioning.
Go ahead, Willie.
So
Sorry, Willie. Go. We did hear you, and then you cut out, and so we hear you again. So start again, please.
Okay. How am I, Chair?
Everything's
Am I
fine.
coming through?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, and through you, and following up on Councillor Leahy's questioning, the Zero Emission Transit Fund that we were hoping to receive, and in fact, there was a lot of optimism when we had the MP from Ajax and the MP from Whitby here at the region, and I think the indications were that we were in line to get, I think the amount was $33.7 million. Unfortunately, that has not happened. Now, going with the 18 diesel buses, in some respects, I'm looking at, if we're looking at getting towards this net zero in the Durham region and our, I guess, trying to get to that net zero, how much is a diesel bus versus if we use that money to buy a battery electric bus? What is the difference?
So if I may, through the chair, I'm not sure if you had a chance to take a look at the tech report, and I will refer to Bill here, but our challenge was getting as many service hours for the dollar because we have a limited dollar. So that's why things turned out the way they did. So, and that's why our pressure for 2025 is to try to insert a couple more electric buses to try to get us further along. But I will refer your question to Bill. As I say, the tech report was quite detailed around the struggle on this.
Thank you. And through the chair, the cost of a diesel bus today, there's a range depending on options, but generally in the industry, it ranges from $850 to $1 million for a diesel bus. Battery electric bus can range anywhere from 1.5 to 1.7 million. And then there's roughly a $400,000 per bus cost for the infrastructure that has to be in place. So just around $2 million for electric bus.
Okay. And with the supply issues, just even on the diesel buses, is there a lead time or I guess what I'm trying to get to is the 18 buses that are supposed to be part and parcel of 12 growth and 6 replacement, is the availability there within the supply chain?
So through the chair, and again, Bill can add to this, but if he orders today, it's 18 months. So that's why the pressure is on to get this 2024 bus order out the door as quickly as possible in order to have them for his September 2026 service enhancements.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Lee.
Good morning, Chair, and thank you. Just along the lines of what Chair Henry was previously stating, so we put in a request in, and we were told it was too high. What was our initial request in terms of dollar amounts?
Commissioner, do you have that answer? Or
Through the chair, I want to say it was close to 100 million probably. Bill can perhaps confirm, because we have a lot of other things that were in there as well that we're hoping for.
And then in terms of our, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mr. Holmes.
sorry, one sec, Councillor. Bill?
Sorry, through the
Mr. Holmes?
chair. Yeah, and actually it was, I believe it was closer to $200 million because we are looking at both the buses as well as the facility requirements, and part of that was the 2400 Thornton facility. So it was a significant ask in terms of supporting our electrification plan.
Were we given any indication, were we in contact with the federal government as we were submitting to not go that high? You know, like I think Chair Henry said York got 70 million. So, I mean, if that was kind of the benchmark, were we too lofty? Is this something we can learn for next time we apply for a grant to be more realistic in our expectations? Or were we, in a sense, suggested to kind of shoot for the moon?
Who wants to take a run at that one?
Through the chair, I'll take that one.
Okay.
At the time of the program, when it was first implemented back in 21-22, from an application perspective, there were no sort of guardrails in terms of amount or suggestions regarding that. That's where we had just at DRT completed our fleet electrification plan, which was a requirement of the funding program. So we had followed all of the requirements and the criteria in the submission. There are a number of agencies across the country who have received significant amounts. In hindsight, perhaps there's an opportunity looking forward to the Canada Public Transit Fund to refine what we've learned through this process. But at the time, there were no suggestions of limiting the amounts being requested to support our plan.
Okay. And then, sorry, for our neighboring, so we were told in this, report that neighboring municipalities kind of got what a sizable amount. Do we know which municipalities and how much? So again, I think I heard York got 70. Did Peel get an amount? Did Toronto? I mean, obviously Toronto, I'm assuming, got an amount, but do we have those amounts with us?
Through the chair, there's a number of agencies across the country. So, there is on the Infrastructure Canada's website that lists that. So, TTC, BC Transit, some in down east as well. OC Transpo, for example, in Ottawa, in terms of the projects, but we haven't seen a full listing yet. We do understand that the actual website details need to be updated, but at this point in time, we're not aware of anyone other than what's been published by Infrastructure Canada and the odd news announcements such as what we know with York.
Okay, if this committee could ask then that we get kind of an update on this, because I will take the role of Chair Henry, where it's absolutely unacceptable that Durham Region got zero. We did announcements. We have been doing the work. We've revitalized our entire transit strategy over the next 10 years. And we absolutely need to partner with the federal government on this. And they have left us hanging literally. And that is absolutely unacceptable to receive zero. And again, not even an indication that for the reason why or what we did wrong. So I very much like those numbers so that I can talk to my MP and other MPs in Durham because, yeah, that is absolutely unacceptable. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor McDougall.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for bringing the report forward. A question I have is just with regards to the grant request. I believe, Commissioner Taylor, you indicated that the grant request was actually many things bundled together, of which part was buses. I think it was indicated that was about $100 million was the grant request. Is that correct?
So, General Manager Holmes corrected me. It was closer to 200 million because we had the 2400 Thornton in there. So I want to say it was approaching 100 million for buses. In 2024, we had 33.6 million included for. So you can see that on the bottom of page 7 of 7. You can see that we've carved out 33.7 million almost from the 2024 buses.
Okay, then further through you, Mr. Chair, to Commissioner Taylor. In comparison to the other areas, the request was 200 million, of which 33 was removed. Did they have a similar request for capital that we had? Like, are we comparing the total grant application to the total grant application, or are we parsing just the bus part?
So through the chair, we will, further to Councillor Lee's request, we will send you a summary, but at this point, we don't have access to what the others all individually submitted versus what they got. So if that becomes public, we'll advise. So the 250 million, I'm just going to expand this chart out a little bit. So we had applied for a new facility was the biggest piece of for 2024 and 2025, but there was facility retrofits, electric buses, and then some planning for the equipment and software.
Okay, thank you. And then just a question to follow up, just with regards to concerns for the environment, and we are moving forward to buy some new buses, but does an electric bus carry more passengers than a diesel bus? Through to Commissioner Holmes.
Through the chair, capacity is the same.
Capacity is the same. So if a diesel bus removes 20 plus cars from the road, is that more I mean, I know you're not the environmental expert and neither am I, but would that not be beneficial to the environment to have one diesel bus over however many cars that might remove? Through the chair, to Commissioner Holmes.
Through the chair, you're correct in that, again, that's part of the rationale and the objectives of growing public transit in Durham is to be more attractive and competitive to get cars off the road, which reduces those emissions. So, and just, I'll rephrase my capacity comment to you as well. The actual bus capacity is the same, but because the technology is so new, the industry uses a factor of about 1.25 electric buses to meet the capacity of a diesel bus because of the cycle times and other issues just without the experience yet. So that's what we've been using. So it's about, that's the factor for the electric bus. It's from the overall capacity.
Okay, and then one question further, just with regards to the environment and the buses. The diesel buses that we're purchasing, I assume these are a tier 4 kind of diesel bus. These are not our yesteryear 1950s diesel buses anymore. Is that fair to say? Through the chair to Commissioner Holmes.
Through the chair, you're correct. It is based on the current, and California has the toughest regulations, but that's what applies nationally in North America. And we do know as well that the diesel engines are undergoing further enhancements with a new regulation coming out in the next year or so. And the industry is now actually redoing the engines even further to reduce emissions for the next number of years after that.
So some pretty impressive diesel stats on their own for the environment. Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Henry.
Thank you, Chair. This is just a follow-up to Councillor McDougall's question. Mr. Holmes, with our transit numbers, thinking that every rider takes a vehicle off the road, how many riders have we had for so far this year?
Through the chair, through October, we actually have reached 11 million riders, which our previous record was about 11.1 in 2019. So we're already likely at this point, we've reached our record ridership. We are projecting roughly 11.3, 11.9 million by the end of the year.
And thank you, and Chair, I think that's important to show the significance of what our transit system does to actually remove cars off the road, and that's to our transit team, that's a pretty impressive statistic, so thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you. I don't have any further requests. There is a motion duly moved and seconded, so I'm going to call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? That item is carried. The last report was moved by Chair Henry, second by Councillor Leahy. It's a 2025 interim regional property tax levy. Councillor Leahy, you get a question?
Yeah, no, perfect. Just a quick one on that. So just, if I understand the report properly, so we basically charge interest if we don't get paid on time, which is about 7 days later. Has anyone ever not paid? Because I'm just curious. And then, do we actually make any money on that interest, or is it really just a policy?
Yeah, so through the chair, it's really just a policy. I mean, some years it's more the supplementaries, for example. If a small municipality doesn't have much in supplementaries, they may not go through the hassle of sending us the money in the reconciliation, right? But the annual installments, I mean, give or take a day or two with respect to bank timing or where a weekend falls. But no, there's no burning issue here.
Yeah, I was just curious, just wondering if there was something driving that, but really just have the policy just in case. But
Yeah.
Perfect. That was my only question. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Debate? Being none, I'm going to call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? That item is carried. We do have a resolution. It's my understanding, Councillor McDougall, you have a motion? Councillor, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll make that motion from the advisory committee. The resolution, would you like me to read that?
No, I don't want you to read the resolution. I want you to read, or your motion.
I'd like to make a motion to refer this to staff for a go-forward basis for considerations.
Okay, there's a motion moved by Councillor McDougall to refer it back to staff. I need a seconder. Second by Councillor Leahy. Debate. Councillor McDougall, do you want to speak to your motion?
Sure. This motion has been developing or ongoing. We have some members from the committee that are very passionate and would like to have consideration for future construction ideas for the Lakeshore GO extension to be considered for accessibility in the future. And that's all.
Thank you. Councillor Leahy, I saw your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I just really want to understand this particular piece is that we're basically saying if we don't get funding to build the stations that we build it anyways. Like, I'm trying to understand what's motivating this particular piece.
Commissioner?
So through the chair, the wording that's reflected here is that the committee supports Durham's possible decisions with respect to the GO extension. So, and then, of course, they're bringing in accessibility.
Well,
as a
accessibility.
priority. So it's not really dictating any, it's simply supporting whatever decisions council would make with respect to furthering the GO file.
Okay, no, that's fine. And I again fully support all these pieces, and that's I completely agree. But anything we build, do we not have to meet AODA requirements anyways? And again, I'm just saying, is this what's over and above here what we would do? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Through the chair, to my understanding, obviously any new build of any government-related infrastructure has to comply. So I don't think that there's anything unusual here. I think it's a matter of them going on record to say that they support the activity and that they would anticipate all proper accessibility considerations.
Okay, no, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything because I think we're all in support of that. So I appreciate that.
We should be debating the motion rather than the request. The motion is to refer back to staff, but the train has left the station.
Here's hoping. Thank you.
So if there's no further debate, there's a motion duly moved and second to refer back to staff for further information. Yeah, if there's no further debate, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That item is carried. There's no confidential matters, any new business or other business. Being none, the date of the next meeting is Tuesday, December the 10th. in this council chamber. Motion to adjourn would be in order. Moved by Councillor Leahy, second by Councillor McDougall. All those in favor? Opposed? That item's carried. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.